The word that came to Yirmiyahu concerning all the Jews who dwell in the land of Mitzrayim, who dwell in Migdol, at the Tapanhes, at Naph, and in the country of Pathros, saying, Thus says Yehovah Tzvaot, the Elohim of Yisrael, You have seen all the calamity that I have brought on Yerushalayim and on all the cities of Yehuda. And behold, this day they are a desolation, and no one dwells in them, because of their wickedness which they have committed to provoke me to anger, in that they went to burn incense and to serve other gods whom they did not know. They, nor you, nor your fathers. However, I have sent to you all my servants the prophets, rising early and sending them, saying, Oh, do not do this abominable thing that I hate. But they did not listen or incline their ear to turn from their wickedness, to burn no incense to other gods. So my fury and my anger were poured out and kindled in the cities of Yehuda and in the streets of Yerushalayim, and they are wasted and desolate as it is this day. Now therefore, thus says Yehovah, the Elohim of Yisrael, Why do you commit this great evil against yourselves, to cut off from you man and woman, child and infant, out of Yehuda, leaving none to remain, and that you provoke me to wrath with the works of your hands, burning incense to other gods in the land of Mitzrayim, where you have gone to dwell, that you may cut yourselves off and be a curse and a reproach among all the nations of the earth. I want to pause for a second. So, first of all, to kind of continue on from yesterday's, as I explained yesterday, so Yah's putting Israel into 70 years captivity through King Nebuchadnezzar because of disobedience of the Shemitah year, the land Sabbath, 70 of them, which was 490 years worth. So he gave them a year for each Shemitah Sabbath that they broke, hence 70 years of being in captivity. And in that judgment, he still gives Judah a blessing and gives Israel a blessing, saying, Go, submit yourself to Nebuchadnezzar, and I will bless you while you're in captivity. You will grow fields, you will build a house, you will have all these things. I will bless you while you're there. As if it's a good home for you for the moment. And so in the midst of his judgment, he's shown them blessing and favor and mercy and grace. But then some of those, a majority of those, say, no, we're not falling for it through Jeremiah. We don't believe it. We don't accept it because we want what we want, and we think that we're going to be free and we're going to go live peaceably and all that in Egypt. So they go to Egypt, and Yah's like, that's fine. I'm going to make my calamity and my judgment follow you there. You don't think that you've escaped. But not only do they still walk in disobedience, but while they're in Mitzrayim, they continue to do the things that got them judged in the land, got them kicked out of the land, got them put into captivity because of their profaning his Shabbat and profaning his name and lighting incense to false gods and doing all these abominations and breaking the commandments, breaking the first commandment, breaking the second commandment, breaking the third commandment, breaking the fourth commandment, all pertaining to Yah, and they're still doing it. And it's like, holy cow. And Mishpahah, the thing that I want to stress is how bad are we doing this in our walk? How much are we doing these very things in our own walk? Are we lacking surrender in any part of our walk that is hindering us from receiving everything that Yah can do for us? It's funny because people get the mindset that, well, Yah can bless us all he wants, and he needs to just do that. But what a lot of people don't understand, Mishpaha, if we break his commandments or any part of them, and I'm talking about intentionally, I'm not talking about from lack of understanding or because you're babying and you're learning and growing or because you just didn't know, and Yah will teach you and you'll learn. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who come to know the truth, learn the truth, reject the truth, and still do things their way. Those people, Yah cannot bless. Because for him to bless them is to go against his own word. It's to go against his own commandments and his own decrees, his own claims. He says clearly, if you break my commandments, if you do these things, that I will bring a curse upon you. If he was to still bless you after blatantly disregarding his commandments and disobeying them, then he would be going and breaking his own Torah. So he can't. He can't, not because he's not able to, because it's out of his power, but because Yah will not ever do anything that is contrary to his own commands, his own ways. People get this mindset, well, he's God, he can do whatever he wants. Yes, he can do whatever he wants if he so chose to do. But as a just and righteous El, he cannot do anything that goes against his own judgments, his own decrees, his own laws and commandments and everything. He is not somebody who do as I say, don't do as I do kind of thing. That is not our God. That is not who we serve. He is just, holy, righteous. He is not deceitful. He does not sin. There is no deception in him. So there's nothing that he would do that would be contrary to what he has laid out for us to do. And so when we sit here and we handle his word and esteem it lightly and his commandments, think we're going to do whatever we want with them and handle them the way we want and basically tell Yah through our actions, this is how I'm going to serve you, you're going to accept it, and you're going to bless me anyways. Sorry, son, not going to happen. It's not how Yah works. And he is not going to bless us. He cannot bless us when we purposefully play with his word, disregard his word, and handle his word the way we choose to. And Israel is the prime example of that. They are the prime example of that here in Scripture, because they basically said the same thing to Yah as so many so-called believers do today. They tell Yah, I'm going to serve you. I will do this my way. I will add all these things into it, and you're going to receive it, and you're going to accept it, and you're going to love it, and you're going to bless me for it. And he's going to tell them to tell us the same thing he told them. No, I will put you into captivity. You've kindled my wrath and my anger, and I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to make you desolate. I'm going to send you into captivity. But even with all of that, he still shows mercy. He still shows mercy. And he doesn't make their life a living terror. Now, there are times that he did. When they were in captivity with Egypt for 400 plus years, when different times throughout history, because of Israel's wickedness and everything else, temple being destroyed, Jerusalem being sacked, millions being killed, stuff like that. Yeah, it happened. But there are always times that Yah shows mercy on a remnant and shows his compassion so that they are not totally wiped out. And yet we still don't learn, Mishpaha. Like the age-old saying of learn from the past. And yet none of us want to learn from the past and see how Yah handles things. All of a sudden, everybody's got blinders on to the judgment of Yah, to his chosen people for millenniums. And suddenly, we're this special little bubble that he will just move the world for us no matter how much we profane his commandments and his Torah. Not going to happen. Not ever. Continuing on, verse 9. Have you forgotten the wickedness of your fathers, the wickedness of the kings of Yehuda, the wickedness of their wives, your own wickedness, and the wickedness of your wives, which they committed in the land of Yehuda and in the streets of Jerusalem? They have not been humbled to this day, nor have they feared. They have not walked in my Torah or in my statutes that I set before you and your fathers. Therefore thus says Yehovah Tzveot, the Elohim of Yisrael, behold, I will set my face against you for catastrophe and for cutting off all Yehuda. I will take the remnant of Yehuda who have set their faces to go into the land of Mitzrayim to dwell there, and they shall all be consumed and fall in the land of Mitzrayim. They shall be consumed by the sword and by famine. They shall die from the least to the greatest, by the sword and by famine. And they shall be an oath, an astonishment, a curse, and a reproach. For I will punish those who dwell in the land of Mitzrayim as I have punished Jerusalem by the sword, by famine, and by pestilence, so that none of the remnant of Yehuda who have gone into the land of Mitzrayim to dwell there shall escape or survive, lest they return to the land of Yehuda to which they desire to return and dwell, for none shall return except those who escape. Then all the men who knew that their wives had burned incense to other gods, with all the women who stood by, a great multitude, and all the people who dwelt in the land of Mitzrayim and Pathros, answered Yirmiyahu, saying, as for the word that you have spoken to us in the name of Yehovah, we will not listen to you. Wow. But we will certainly do whatever has gone out of our own mouth, to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven and pour out drink offerings to her as we have done, and we are, and our fathers, our kings and our princes in the cities of Yehuda, in the streets of Jerusalem. For then we had plenty of food, were well off, and saw no trouble. Delusional. We even have the practice of the lighting of the candles that became the lighting of the candles to enter into Shabbat here. The burning of incense to the Queen of Heaven. Judaism lights the two candles as they enter into Shabbat to usher in the Queen of Heaven. And they call it the Queen of Sabbath. That's what Judaism does. And Messianic and Hebrew roots have adopted that same pagan practice. But since we stopped burning incense to the Queen of Heaven and pouring out drink offerings to her, we have lacked everything and have been consumed by the sword and by famine. The women also said, and when we burned incense to the Queen of Heaven and poured out drink offerings to her, did we make cakes for her to worship her and pour out drink offerings to her without our husband's permission? Then Yirmiyahu spoke to all the people, the men, the women, and all the people who had given him that answer, saying, the incense that you burned in the cities of Yehuda and in the streets of Jerusalem, you and your fathers, your kings and your princes, and the people of the land, did not Yehovah remember them, and did it not come into his mind? So Yehovah could no longer bear it because of the evil of your doings and because of the abominations which you committed. Therefore your land is a desolation, an astonishment, a curse, and without an inhabitant, as it is this day. Because you have burned incense, and because you have sinned against Yehovah, and have not obeyed the voice of Yehovah, or walked in his Torah, in his statutes, or in his testimonies. Therefore this calamity has happened to you as at this day. Moreover, Yirmiyahu said to all the people and to all the women, hear the word of Yehovah, all Yehuda who are in the land of Mitzrayim. Thus says Yehovah Tzveot, the Elohim of Yisrael, saying, you and your wives have spoken with your mouths and fulfilled with your hands, saying, we will surely keep our vows that we have made to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven and pour out drink offerings to her. You will surely keep your vows and perform your vows. Therefore, hear the word of Yehovah, all Yehuda who dwell in the land of Mitzrayim. Behold, I have sworn by my great name, says Yehovah, that my name shall no more be named in the mouth of any man of Yehuda in all the land of Mitzrayim, saying, Yehovah Elohim lives. Behold, I will watch over them for adversity and not for good, and all the men of Yehuda who are in the land of Mitzrayim shall be consumed by the sword and by famine, until there is an end to them. Yet a small number who escape the sword shall return from the land of Mitzrayim to the land of Yehuda, and all the remnant of Yehuda who have gone to the land of Mitzrayim to dwell there shall know whose words will stand, mine or theirs. And this shall be an oath, a sign, a covenant to you, says Yehovah, that I will punish you in this place, that you may know that my words will surely stand against you for adversity. Thus says Yehovah, behold, I will give Pharaoh Hophra, king of Mitzrayim, into the hand of his enemies and into the hand of those who seek his life, as I gave Zedekiah, king of Yehuda, into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, his enemy who sought his life. Wow. Wow. So Mishpachah, we really need to take the word of Yehovah so serious. Because every word, every letter, every yod and hook, every dot and tittle, from Genesis 1:1 to Revelation 22:21, is the word of Yehovah, from Yehovah. And we need to obey. We need to listen. We need to take heed. I don't care if you like it or not. It is much safer and much better and whatever other word you can think of. It is to your blessing and to life for you to obey his word. Otherwise, it's death in every way, shape, and form. Amen. I love y'all, Mishpachah, but y'all loves you more. Shalom, shalom.